I
Awesome.
think.
So like I said, it's really nice to meet you, Magdalena. I'm not even sure where you are in the world or where you are from.
Thank you very much, Simon. I'm very happy to be with you, Alexis. Thank you very much for the invitation. And greetings from Belgium, Antwerp, sunny Antwerp.
Okay, awesome. You have a lot of chocolate. So we have a few interesting topics about leadership and very interesting stuff. Before that, I would be interested to hear about a little bit about yourself and your story. What brought you and what taught you the things that you know today that you are probably using and utilizing every day in your business? And maybe after you can even tell me what is your business, because that's the extent of what I know.
It's a very interesting and collective question. And I will start from what brought me where I am right now. Recently, someone asked the question, what made you to start your own business? And leadership was something that has developed in me within the time. I started to work when I was 18, and I was the yellow chicken in the professional world. And while this time I was observing, at the beginning, we are not given the chance to have voice. We are unfortunately in the position where we need to follow. And also what we observe, what we experience, we are not necessarily able to name it. Is it good? Is it wrong behavior from the people we are surrounded by at the workplace? So within that time, I was growing, and I reached a moment where I realized I served with everything that surrounding me environment is ready to take. And I didn't have possibility to move forward. And I'm not talking about to climb on the success ladder, but initiatives, creativity, engaging more employees towards the organizational, sustainability, as my focus was always around people. And I found myself in a moment in life that, okay, there are no more doors, so let's build my own door. And I did it, went through, and here I am. I am just running my own leadership development consulting services, mentorship for individuals, where also and the teams, where I try to use all my knowledge from the practice that I did and the guide towards the better culture and build the foundation for overall employee satisfaction and engagement, with the impact, of course, and force, I can say, force on leadership engagement. So this is what brought me here. And what taught me, I think, absence of leaders. There are leaders. I had superiors, and there were various practices performed by them, but most of them was lacking in giving the attention for the employees around, including me, towards the growth. So I think that experience made me opposite. So this is where the attention towards people has grew in me, and that's my drive.
Right. When something is missing, we try to compensate it, right?
Yes. Somehow I think if you will ask me, okay, how it happened, I don't really know where I got that strength in me to go into the positive direction, rather fall into negativity and complaining mode. That I do not have leaders who do not pay attention to me, but I use that gap to develop the self-learning, self-leadership, and then serve others with those learnings.
So that's very interesting. You just felt maybe stuck, and you felt like you're not fulfilling your creative potential, and maybe you're not even enjoying what you're doing very much, and there's nobody in charge. So the people that are supposed to be in charge and they're supposed to be leaders, they were failing you and they were disappointing you, and maybe you've noticed that they were just neglecting what you felt they're supposed to do.
I will not go with this harsh description that disappointment and feeling bad. Maybe at some point there was this kind of feeling that it would be great to have eyes on me. And I think everybody at the workplace are actually seeking for that attention. And that's also the principle of leaders, is to give that attention, to invite, come work with me, come grow with me. Unfortunately, I didn't have that luck. But like I said, I was fortunate in having autonomy. In every position I had that blessing, privilege. I was given the autonomy that I was able to create, and they allowed me to go with the initiatives, to engage with other people across the organization or even outside the organizations. So that was amazing. That was fulfilling for me. So I found that momentum where I could use my creativity, I could use my potential, my vision. But still, it is not entirely great if you are left alone to create the work all the time. Because there were moments indeed that I just would like that someone is coming over and, holding your hand and come with me. But unfortunately, that was rarely a case.
There is something that is not clear for me. Can you explain me what do you mean by creativity? Like you want to use your creativity in a workplace, right? So I don't really understand what that means.
Me and creativity. What just came to my mind when I was sitting with the team and we are just talking about the current project and their engagement in that project. And sometimes while I'm talking, somewhere in my head, there are already popping up the ideas how to embrace, how we can even go aside and engage other people and add another value based on that experience that we have. And usually, while I was talking, suddenly I just stopped because I just wanted to anchor those things that are happening in my mind. And they knew that, oh my God, she is just coming up with another idea. And they were ready that in a moment will come, you know what we can do. So with me, the creativity, I think, was more about finding the opportunity for other people to be engaged, to show their values, to even show them that they have a potential they are not aware about, and create the challenge for them. I was using my conceptual knowledge for that and the resources that I had in hand, plus the power of autonomy that I was given. So few elements at one point I was using, and I think bigger part was based on the conceptual knowledge, the leadership principle, what we have, whom we have on board, how we can use it, and how we can go.
So it sounds to me like basically you are trying to empower them and
yes,
and bring out the best out of there.
Yes,
To make it
that
short,
was
right?
my key drive.
Right.
That was
That's
my
what
key drive.
you were always doing that, right?
Yeah. Of course, I cannot say 20 years ago because I was still learning, and that was actually at the time where I was responsible for human resources and the connection with employees, their struggles. This is where they started to say they are having no attention from the leaders, the managers. And it's like, what does it mean, having attention? So the operating with certain terminologies was not clear yet for me. So you have to gain some knowledge through reading, through studying, and then immediately incorporate that into your daily practice. And like you said, to empower people. Not everybody are having today the skills that I need to empower them. So for example, I will create, oh, you know what? Let's do the newsletter for our division. And let's talk about in that newsletter, 1, 2, 3. Okay, you will be leading that project. I am the boss, but you will be leading that project in terms of my right hand. Oh, I am not sure if I can do it. It's fine. I will be your mentor in that. And then whom we can invite? Who is having little work? This person is complaining, having not too much to work. Okay, let me talk with their manager. So diplomacy made me to have that acceptance, for example. And then I'm having on board teamwork 5 people. After 1 year, I'm saying to my right hand, okay, you are ready to take over my role in that whole project. No, Magdalena, I'm not ready. So yes, you are, but no worries. I am behind you to help you. So I prepared within a year the person to gain some skills, some awareness, to be ready to take over. And it was brilliant because within that project, not only one person, but other people gain within the process some confidence, empowerment, enlightenment for their own potential, grew their own creativity, because within the process, people said, oh, you know what, maybe we should change the approach towards that section in the newsletter. Maybe we can do differently, or maybe we can invite someone else, because recently I had a coffee chit chat and she was talking interesting things about that subject. Cool, bring that person on board. Let's do it. So it was not for me to make my name shining, but for others.
So when you first mentioned maybe I can shine, something like that, you said, and that you wanted, I didn't immediately understand what you meant. But then a memory came up for me of my first and only job I had, because I've been running my own businesses. I had one job and it was terrible. And my boss, he booked a kind of like a call with me. He was never there. We would never see him. And we were supposed to have a one-on-one, like, you know, he was supposed to do it with everybody. And on that day, he didn't even show up. And he didn't mention we would reschedule, nothing. Just like he forgot. And obviously, if a boss doesn't have time or the ability to even remember this, he's of course not lifting his employees up. He's of course not educating them and challenging them and bringing out the best of them. Actually, as you can probably imagine, the company is terrible. It's an understatement. So I understood what you meant. And people, they do need that attention, that personalized attention. And it's even love, you can call it. They need it. It's a need. A lot of them, because, you know, I deal with trauma with a lot of people. They are lacking in love. They're lacking in a parent that told them what they can do and what they can achieve and how good they can be, and who taught them how to master themselves, right? And challenge themselves. So it's really wonderful what you're doing. I can look at it from, you know, that perspective. And another thing that's coming up that I think could be really interesting. Well, I think for me, maybe I'm just projecting, but for me, lifting people up is a huge part of leadership, of course. But the way that you are describing it, that's not the first thing that's coming to my mind, but obviously it is a part. For men, to lift each other up, they don't normally do that. That's not a normal thing. That's quite unique, probably also for women. So I was just interested in your thoughts about that.
And it's actually incredible that you are just talking about this, because yesterday or a couple of days ago, I have done an article on LinkedIn. People are not lazy. People are lost in life. And I really love to see the role of leadership as the sociological tool. When we are talking about the sociology, we understand it's an environmental condition. But when we go further to the neuroscience, we are learning about the term cognitive map. And cognitive map is something that is built up based on elements of the environment, culture, traditions, family. And the environment is not just like, oh, this is where I am. It will be collective impact on various factors. We are born, everybody with the same size of a brain. And then there will be two cases, for example. The mothers are going for the playground, sandbox. One child will be sitting with the mother, and mother will be talking, will be creative, engaging with the child and doing sounds with the track, how it's going, or moving the sand and so on. So what is happening in our brain? Certain synapses in the brain are developing. Then another sandbox, there will be a child sitting alone and playing alone while the mother is sitting on the bench and engaging with another mother. So already here we are having amazing example how the brain, how the environment is having impact, how the brain is developing. Then we are having the cultural, religious, traditional factors that in the house will have an impact on us. Don't speak at the table. You have no voice. Kids and fishes have no voice. I am not interested in your opinion. For girls, always smile, say thank you, be grateful, and so on. So those elements are having impact how we are growing. School, teachers, whom we are meeting, are they engaging us? Are they lifting up, uplifting us, or hammering us? Oh, you are such a loser. Yes. And then we are finishing university. That's the one part of the sociological environment that has impact on us, impact on our cognitive map, how we think, how we develop the values, moral and ethics, and shaping our characters. Bad ego, good ego. And then we go into organization. That's another sociological environment. And this is where the power of leadership comes, in my understanding. When we look on the principles of leadership, the qualities, it's about making people better version of themselves. So it's my must giving love to people, and not the love in a romantic understanding, but like Confucius says, love other people, accept other people as they are. And the leader is doing wrong if looking at the people through their own lens of expectations, because those people are different cognitive maps. They are having different experience. They are having different past managers that maybe traumatized them in the previous workplace. So I need to observe them, and I need to give them a hand to make them satisfied. Because if I make them satisfied at the workplace, it has a huge impact who they are also at home.
Can you explain what is can you explain what is a cognitive map?
Cognitive map. I find that, so it starts from the birth. What kind of home we are born in, and what kind of qualities are performed by the people we are surrounded by. What kind of climate in the house we do have. What is the level of attention? That will be a one brick of that cognitive map.
I think I got it. I think to make it simple, we can call it programs. So programs that were installed to us in the environment we grew up in or were influenced in, right? Okay.
The neighborhood. And the neighborhood. How parents are talking to us.
Yes.
Is you are stupid. You are fat. Congratulations, amazing, you got C+. Brilliant. Huge impact. Yes, or we are having a hammer, or we have empowering, even if we are low. So then every stage, kindergarten, friends on the street, where we go, where we are pulled out, and then school, primary school, high school. And how often I remember we were hearing, from the teachers on some disturbing kids, you are a lost case. I was recently hearing some Polish woman was sharing, for one critic towards the kid, we need 7 positive enforcements to cover that one critic. And it's not about that enforcement. Compliment is like, oh, you look good, or I love you. It's not about that. It's about sending the message to a child that it will be anchored in their mind. So we can see how one negative comment has impact and power on us. And it's the same at workplace.
How come? How come one critic has so much power?
I wish to know the answer to that.
Simon, do you know?
I think it's just because of the baseline that most of us have when we grow up, which actually it ties with the one little tiny thing that I didn't exactly agree with you, Magdalena. I'll explain it. I think everything you said was wonderful. So I think that if most of us are insecure and everyone is insecure about something, then we are believing this negative belief. And then we're getting reinforcements of these beliefs all the time, because to be excellent is hard. And so we believe that we are stupid because we got a C-, and we believe easily, because there's so much proving it, that we are ugly because nobody invited us to the party, or things like this. This is easy. There's proof everywhere. And to actually switch something into positive and empowering, most people cannot do this by themselves. So that's why they need this leader to help them and to show them. And this takes a lot more brain power and a lot more proof until I'm sure you know, Magdalena, probably your right hand would continuously question themselves, even though they were doing an excellent job, because they are believing that they are no good, far into the job, and it's taking them time to reprogram and undo all these proofs. So that's what I think. And now I'll tell you the one little thing that it's not that I didn't like, it's just it goes against what I feel would be wonderful. You said you were describing the stages of somebody's life where they go to school and they go to college, and then they get shaped and they get the culture and they develop character and all those things. And then, only then, they get to the corporate world and they start a job. And then maybe, if they're lucky, they have some chance to get access to some sort of leadership. And to me, that's terrible. I think from the very day that we are born, the doctor that brings you out into the world should be an absolute leader. Your mother and father, a leader. The teacher in school, leaders. Your neighbors, leaders that give you and teach you and enrich you. And I think what you're describing is a more accurate, what's actually happening. Am I right? Rather than what needs
I
to be.
agree with you. And I didn't, so then maybe I did not express myself also clearly. I agree absolutely with you. Everybody before. I just wanted to make the line what is happening before we go to the corporate world. All what you said, all those stages, we should have leaders and people who are showing us the right way, showing us the direction, sparkle in us. Yes, go for it. You have it. You can do it. Absolutely. It's just that for me, what I can see, that's why I draw this line up to our finishing the universities. And then when we enter the corporate world, there are these two big sociological environments that will have an impact on us. If we have missing part of encouraging person, actor, let's say, I will say, actor in our growing part life, it's pity because it makes our life more difficult, and we have to develop those self-awareness, this own value later on our own. And as you said, it's difficult. So I agree with you, Simon, totally on that.
You are just describing what you do actually, because you are teaching leaders to be leaders. Is right?
Yeah.
Okay, clear.
For me, I was lucky. I had
Alex,
my
add
father.
something?
When I was younger, he was a leader to me, and it really helped me. Like at 16, I left school. I took the decision to leave school and go work at McDonald's. Like I took the decision. I fight with them. They wanted me to continue. I said, no, I'm not continuing. So already then, because of my father, I had some kind of leadership for my life. I knew the direction I wanted to take. And for example, Simon didn't have a father present with him. And I had to teach him to teach him a lot about leadership for 13 years now. And he's getting there, but I can see how hard it is. Like the gap that he's missing, that he didn't get from his father, is huge. And
it is.
Yeah. So yeah, it's very
it
important.
Is absolutely.
If we could have leaders from the day one that we are born and absorb this energy, we'll be in a different world.
And I think this is also sometimes we can hear even those who are sharing empowering thoughts. Yeah, you can do it. You are, owner of your own life. And even what Simon has said earlier, if we are having some experience of negativity, it's growing by time. And then it's really difficult to break that inside so that, we can hear one message. Okay, I'm newly born. No, it's not that. It's really a heavy wall in us. And then it's coming, what I also observed among leaders. It's not my pain that someone is not able to make a decision. It's so unfair because one will have that strength in them, like you, Alexis. Okay, you are 16, you are moving on, and this is your direction you want to follow. But does it make us better than those are not having that strength in them? I don't see that.
I don't
If
think
we have that strength,
being better, yeah.
We can support. Oh, okay, you don't have that strength? Come, join me. Let me show you how I did it. And no worries, it doesn't mean I didn't have a pain, cry moments. That I'm a bit stronger, it doesn't mean I'm better. Yes, so
it's not about being better. It's like you lose something, so you don't have leadership, but you gain something. So for Simon is very creative. So I can lead and I can get what I want from Simon. I can extract it from him right? And then we can build something amazing together, right? And yeah, that's so it's not less than me. I never considered Simon less than me, even though before he could not lead himself as good as today, right? Never ever in my mind I thought I was superior to Simon. Never.
Oh, I hope you didn't take that I would refer to you. I was just saying
No.
to the general.
I was talking
Yeah,
about me.
to general based on what I hear from other people, based on an example, because I find your example amazing, and I believe many people can resonate to it, and the synergy. And that's also something what I love, the synergy about you're saying that I will lead on something and then Simon is creative. So embracing that together, connecting, that's the very beauty. And this is where quite often leaders are lost, because the shining moment is also something that...
I was talking with someone about that a few days ago. I thought if everyone could understand to find people that are alike, the same values, and help each other grow, it will be amazing.
This would be wonderful.
Yes.
That would be really wonderful.
I also had an interesting thought before that I think is connecting here everything together, because me and Alex, we have a unique story. We've been cooperating for 13 years now, helping each other in many different ways. And so I grew up without leadership, even though I had parents, very loving parents. There was no leadership and there was no education. And that was something that I had to work to undo later in life. And I'm still working on it. And the interesting thought that came to my mind while you were talking, Magdalena, was you were, of course, I understand you. You are absolutely right. We need so much love and we need guidance and we need people to lift us up and believe in us and sometimes see what we cannot see in ourselves. That is crucial. That is what a leader is. That's I think I don't remember what you call it, but you also mentioned the hammer. And I also didn't grow up with a hammer. And sometimes we need a hammer as well. And just to call somebody stupid, that's not a hammer.
No.
Okay, maybe it is a hammer, but actually we don't need a hammer. What we need is a firm hand or some sort of boundary, some sort of rule, some sort of feedback that doesn't always feel nice, but is correct and is true, and it lifts us up. Yeah.
It reminded me of the situation years back. The new team member was joining, not directly my team, but was engaged in some of the projects I was doing. And she was talking to my other colleague. It's like, oh my God, I don't know if Magdalena will be happy. What if I did a mistake with the work that she asked me to do? And another colleague says, Magdalena, no worries. You can do mistakes. She loves when we make mistakes. And then, the colleague is telling me about that. Like, this is what the conversation was about. And I told her, you should not be worried because Magdalena loves when we do mistakes. And I love the confidence of this person to come to me and to tell me that with someone else, she was saying, no, Magdalena loves when you do mistakes. That was amazing for me. And that was the biggest, I think, compliment I got. And
I also love mistakes.
The point with me, when the mistakes, I was never upset about mistakes. I was like, okay, fine. So what are you planning to do now? I don't know. I said, okay, then go to your office, take a 1 hour and come back. Give me some alternatives. And then sometimes in the reaction was the rolling eyes. I said, don't roll your eyes. You can do it. No, I don't. Yes, you can. And then, the person is coming back. Oh, I have some ideas.
Happy.
I told
they are so happy, right?
Yeah. Exactly. But yeah, I was never, it doesn't mean that I'm leading with all the time smile on my face. I can be challenging, I can be rough, I am straightforward, I'm very honest. I will speak honestly in front of the team, and I will name. When the things are going wrong, I will say that was irresponsible to do that way. So definitely there will be a hard way that I will apply. And this is what you say, Simon, there will be a boundaries. If there will be a moment that the person will try to come on my shoulder, to come on head, I will say straightforward, it's not okay what you are doing. I can see it and it's not right. I'm fair towards you. Your attitude is not correct. And I consider to rethink that. So I will name again the things straightforward. So the boundaries will be there, but definitely I will encourage, go for it, do mistakes, because this is the moment where you learn.
That, above anything, is what I teach men to do so that they could function. Because we don't do well in life without that directness. It's I mean, for me and for a lot of men, it's a huge struggle.
You know, it's
How it
go ahead, it's okay.
Yeah, I would like to ask Simon, because it's actually very interesting. Would you say why you say with what why you say men struggle with the mistakes, with making mistakes, with?
No, well, I'm not sure if you know that I'm a men's coach. You know this?
No, I didn't know about that.
Okay. So I'm a men's coach. And the main thing that I deal with is with men who are too nice, way too nice, in a toxic way, that they allow, and they become, because they're too nice, they are unhappy in life because they allow many problems around in their life to get out of hand, and they help and expect the help and the love to be given back to them, but they don't get it. So these types of men, they need to learn exactly what you described. That's a huge challenge for a man later in life that grew up in a certain way. So that's what I mean by this.
I think it's very relevant for women too. And
Yeah.
it can even refer what I said before. When we are young, we are quite often say good morning, even if the neighbor is not good. Say thank you, even if you don't like the gift. Be kind, smile. And then sometimes the gestures that are associated with that, smile, pull the ear, shake the arm, say good morning. And if someone is not kind to us, parents, the family members will say, don't be like that, show them kindness, yes? It's a quite huge responsibility dropped on us. And then we are growing with this kindness misconception. And I think what you are describing, and I also work with people, and I actually went on my own through that. Being kind is a call for attention. This is how I find it. If I will be kind to you, if I will show you I'm ready to sacrifice for you, if I am showing myself available for you, if I will go extra mile for you, I will be seen. And that's my toxic need. I will be seen, that's my expectations. So in a response, I will be important for someone. Oh my God, finally. Maybe finally they will see me. If they will say thank you, oh my God, that's better than the Christmas gift. And just one thank you, I will give even more. I will struggle, I will bleed, I will cry from pain, but I will give more. And this is, I think, what based on study on my own, on myself, it's a call for attention.
Absolutely.
I don't know if you...
I think that the same problem it's very hard and impossible to compare, because in the end, like, it doesn't really matter. We can all greatly suffer from being too nice. And I think maybe we can generalize a little bit that I think, yeah, in many cases, for women, it's much worse to do the same. It can become very extreme, but again, it's very difficult to generalize. It's a terrible problem, and it's a matter of low self-esteem and this need to put others above us. It's no good. It's not good for anybody, but it just possibly comes out and manifests a little bit differently for men and women, but that doesn't really matter so much. But of course, women have this, and I think that women must learn to value themselves and choose who they give their love to, who they give their attention to, and I think they must only give it to people who highly appreciate them. And that all these rules that you have described, that we have to smile and we have to behave this way or that way, maybe those are some rules that you grew up with. I don't think anybody should live with rules. I think we should all operate 100% on instinct and on our emotion, and those are guides. But people are so programmed and so hurt that they learned to override these natural instincts and natural emotions that we have and hide them. And yeah, that was just my thought on what you said.
And I think you said about appreciation. We lost somewhere, or maybe we were not aware that the first person we should appreciate and expect appreciation is from ourselves. We forgot, or we are not taught how we shall value ourselves, how to identify those elements in us, how to express even those value in us, because we see ourselves through the eye of others. What is the quality of attention we receive from others? I see so many people that, they are coming. No one cares about me. No one, you can see even sometimes there are these kind of posts who recently, if you would switch off your phone, who would check on you and how quickly? And people then respond in the comments, oh, I did this once, for 2 weeks, no one was calling. And that's another, I think, another level of expectation. We want to have the value, but through the lens of other people attention. And I believe if we shift that and address ourselves in it, express, okay, these are my toxic needs. Those toxic needs were my drives towards the decision I have made, decisions that not necessarily were good to me. I have learned that. I can name it now. How I can move. What are the qualities I need to develop in me? What are the behaviors I shall change? And as much as we are aware of that, then we are missing the self-leadership power in us, because we are expecting change within the very short period of time. But it sometimes takes years of trainings, building new habits, how we think about ourselves. Earlier wanted to say something and I just took back to Simon.
You had something, Alex?
No, my internet cut for like a few seconds, so I'm
Okay.
lost now. You get back to where you were and I will catch up.
Well, Alex, before our call, he told me that he shared with you a little bit about spiral dynamics and that you were quite intrigued with that. And these, even these things that we are calling toxic, and I understand why, because they are so painful. Traits and needs that bring us down, and even the lessons that people receive that try to shape them and try to mold them in a certain way that seems unnatural. Even those have tremendous, amazing value, and when if we look at them as they are, just of themselves, then of course it looks very painful, and pain is bad, right? Obviously, but they have a reason for being, and for hundreds of years, thousands actually, they were useful, and perhaps they did what they were meant to be. I'll explain what I mean. And now it's time to let go, and that's just a natural evolution of things. So before, we had these very critical and very judgmental expectations of what people should be, what a man should be, what a woman should be. Before that, there was chaos, and that brought a lot of instability. What am I referring to? An example of chaos. So, for example, if we look at history, what's coming to my mind is the Mongol Empire. Very violent, okay? Now, this empire particularly was very open about religion, let everybody be. And another empire, for example, maybe the Muslim empire, when it came out, was not very open about other religions at all. And so they all had their own different rules of what a person should be, what a person should not be. And that brought order at a very huge cost, but it brought order and safety in some ways, because when people accept what is a correct person to be, I'll give an example. A lot of Christians, they look up to Jesus, for example, and they look up to him as a role model. Or Muslims, they look up to Muhammad, and maybe Jews, they look up to Moses as role models, somebody to emulate and be like that. Or you can have also a woman, feminine role model, like be Sarah from the Bible. And that's the kind of woman that you have to be. For very simple people, that's all they have. All they have is a role model that they can at best try to emulate and be like this. And their mind isn't developed enough to understand what is wrong and what is right by themselves. So they have to use this external idea. Yeah, these rules. And so even those rules that hurt a lot of people, we can be very grateful for what they've done, and we can let them go when we're ready. Anytime we're ready, we can let them go. And yeah, that's just what came to my mind while you were talking.
It's beautiful what you said. It's not an easy to let go. And we are talking about assertiveness. Learn how to say no. Join our 4 hours training and you will be master of assertiveness. I don't personally believe in that, but I believe in developing ability to be healthy assertive. And it doesn't mean to say no, but to build boundaries, and the boundaries that will empower me inside so I am able to let something go. So I'm ready to go. And it's like we are building the friendships, right? We are building the friendships, we are connecting, we are hanging out. And okay, why are you friends with those people? Oh, because we know each other for so long. Okay, why are you friends? This kind of answer we could expect when we are young. But now when we are adult, we would expect more comprehensive answer. So why are you friends? Oh, we are hanging out, we are having a great time with the wine and chit chat and, complaining about husbands, kids, this, that. Okay, that will be one perspective, but I believe we shall seek as an adults what kind of value is added to me from the time I'm spending with others. And this is also going back, to the role of the leader in the organization. So somewhere between lines, you are engaging people, go for something extra in your personal life so that you can evolve within your hobby, within your ideas. And this is where you are even not aware, but in a natural way, developing in you the strength to see more and be ready to let go. And this is at least how I find. If we are not developing, I don't know, I believe in this. If we are living day by day, doing the same things, and then by end of the year, what did you do? Went through. And then we expect some change, either from husband or the manager or the team. So we are actually passive in life. But if we are paying attention or creating some attention and creating the narrative, small piece of a narrative every day in life, adding value, we are ending up with lowering attention to the negative aspects around us, and we are empowering positivity. And here even we can go back to what you said, Simon, to the judgment. If I am busy in creating the narrative, I will be less busy with judging people. I will see the positive in other people. And also we can hear quite often, if I am a man of work, I will not criticize people by their mistakes. If I am a man of shine, I will judge others because quite often the judgment is the mirror of my own gaps.
Projection.
What was that, Alex?
Just say projection, and then Magdalena says something, and I didn't understand what she said.
Yeah.
No, I just didn't understand the projection. So
Someone will explain.
The way I describe it in my group is, and I think I picked this up in some book, is that this goes for men and women, but I'm using men as an example here, is that the more needy we are, the more empty we are, the more we are demanding and seeking from others, and we are less able to give. And for men and women, but I think in slightly different ways in some cases, the happiest men in the world are the men who can just love, can give and provide, and just give as much love and as much safety and as much security and uplift as many people as possible. And it's all possible because they no longer are looking at their own little tiny problems. They've long ago put that to the side, and they take care of what they need to, but they generally take care of themselves very well. And so they're not occupied and worried about every little mistake that happens. While people who are not taking care of themselves properly, they are more empty, and they get drawn in by every little catastrophe or every little problem that they have in life, and then they cannot focus on the task at hand, and they cannot even focus on other people. They are absorbed within themselves mostly.
Try to look important, to feel important.
Yeah.
Can you explain
Trying
what
to
is
feel
a projection? Can you explain what is a projection? Because what she says is a projection, but she didn't understand what I mean.
Maybe she didn't hear you. I think she knows what projection is, but
yeah?
I can explain it anyway. It's when you
maybe yes, for the audience,
you feel something and you see it on somebody else. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, if I am empty, you will be my trigger. Why are you walking that way? Why are you dressing that way? Why are you wearing your glasses that way? Why are you shaving your head that way? Can you smile in a different way?
Because they're worried about you, because they're actually worried about themselves,
Yeah, yeah,
because they're judging
It's-
themselves so much.
yeah,
So they will judge you. Yeah.
exactly.
Whilst me, most of the time, this is just my day-to-day life, and Alex as well, and I'm sure Magdalena also you, because otherwise you wouldn't know everything that you know. So you are busy all day thinking about other people and how to help other people and how to lift up other people, and that is just so rewarding to you. And for me, I'm thinking about what can I teach that will change the people in my group's life? What can I give them? And I get a lot of sometimes disrespect. I get a lot of negative feedback. A lot is often daily, but it doesn't matter because the overwhelming majority. So I'll post something and I'll get 200 likes, and I'll get a message or two that is terrible. It's like, oh, you're the worst, you're fake, you're this, you're that, things like that. But it doesn't even matter. I'm not even looking for this person's validation. I'm giving out what is just life-changing to people. Most of the vast majority of people love it, and they appreciate it very much. And a few people who project, who are that sick, they cannot appreciate my gifts and what I have to give. So that's fine. No, I don't take it personally because I don't deal with that. Yeah.
Cannot help everyone.
It's the freedom of criticizing others. It's the reflection, like you said, Alex said about the projection, and earlier we said, when we do the critic, actually that's the gap in us, but we are afraid to face it. It's easier to criticize others. And especially in these days where we are having this social media, and me being a leader in the corporate world was something else. Now I am freestanding person. And I will also hear, oh, you should do this, oh, you shouldn't do that. And then I realize I have my 2 elbows and I will protect myself with these 2 elbows. And they are strong enough, and I will not allow those comments impact my mindset, and to protect my own value and self-awareness. Yes, but it's not an easy, because I think we are human.
It become easier.
We are just human.
Yeah. Like Simon could not block someone. I will tell him block this. It will take him 2 weeks to block him. Now, I don't even ask him. I already blocked him.
Yeah,
like
because
he blocked it before me. Like this was funny. So it become easier. Now, before I was reading, now I don't read. I read 2 words. Block by. Don't do it. For
We have developed resilience. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, resilience. That's a very wonderful.
If they don't connect with us, they will never connect with us. So why try harder for what?
That even they take the power to type those.
Yes, take the energy. It's not worth it. That's why now, anytime anyone goes against what I say in a negative way, it's not constructive. I don't need you.
Yeah, exactly.
A good example is, just so you know, I run a group on Facebook, and we have 100,000 men in this group. And I posted a short video of a man being very abusive to a woman and to a child. And there was the youngest child, maybe 7, 8, and he was hitting the man with a broom while the man was tearing down this teenager. So the mother, I think, was recording. There's a domestic abuse scene. And the man was saying to the teenager, your father doesn't love you. That's why he abandoned you. You're useless. You're this, you're that. Very terrible speech. And to me, there's a boundary. Like, there's no way you can explain this. There's no way that this can be okay or justified or anything at all. And I posted this, and surprisingly, a few men in my group started excusing it and saying they're mistreating the man, and the man is this, and the man is, and they were on the man's side. Tried to reason with a few of them, but I just removed them. Then this isn't the correct place for them around me. And they have serious challenges. If you can look at something like that and think that this is normal and healthy, obviously you've been through some challenging things for that to be normal and okay for you. And I cannot help that, nor it's not my job, and I'm not gonna try. And in the past, maybe I would be too nice. Yeah. Yes.
That's definitely not a role model. And one from the video, and one who is even writing these kind of comments to resonate with the man that is doing these kind of, performing this kind of behavior. Absolutely. I agree with you. And it's amazing that it sounds harsh maybe, but that you are removing. It's for me, the healthy assertiveness in action.
Yeah.
That's the value I want to create in the group. You don't resonate, you're out. Yeah.
So those are the type of people that they need rules, sometimes very toxic rules to operate and to function. They cannot, even though I wrote quite nuanced explanation, they lack the emotional maturity and possibly the intelligence to comprehend that they are in the wrong, or that this person is not, or they just cannot. And without hate, without blaming them, without shaming them too much. Maybe I told one man something, I didn't have to, but I told him that he's not a real man if he behaves like this. Because that's my personal opinion. This is not a real man. But yeah, they need those kinds of rules, and they're not going to get that from me. So it's best we part ways, and I will go this way, and you go out of my group, because you're not going to be an ally of mine. I'm trying to lift people up. And even if somebody has been through horrific trauma and they've experienced things like this, I want to be somebody that shows them that doesn't have to be your life, and that you can grow from this. And so yeah, absolutely. I have to develop that assertiveness and decisiveness, and just remove them and put my energy and effort into people who will appreciate it and will learn from it, instead of people who will resist me and bring the group down. And some of them call me a tyrant for this. Again, that's perfectly fine.
I was about to say, actually, by removing these kind of voices from this scene, let's say, it's a protection of other people who are there, who went through that, whose parents treated them like that, or they went through bullying during the school, not necessarily by parent, but in the school and the neighborhood, and other traumas. So you are protecting.
That's exactly what I told him. I told him we need to protect the good people in this group and kick out the bad apples. We call them bad apples.
It's a point of view. And I'm not going to argue with somebody's point of view. If that's how they feel and they believe, there's nothing I can do. And I'm not even interested in trying to change that. To some extent, I can talk civilly, I can explain myself, but if I don't have a partner that's willing and trying to,
they're not trying,
at least a little bit.
Like, we try to coach them and ask them questions and say this is not really correct, and they answer like, I don't care. Like, I'm trying to have a constructive conversation. No, I don't care. Okay, bye, out. Like, you don't care, no problem.
Which is a child's behavior.
We give them a chance. We give them a chance. Most of the time, we give them a chance, but they cannot even get that. So out, bye. Anyway, I remember something about decisiveness. How you say
decisiveness?
Decisiveness, right? And I remember that I'm always very decisive from very young. And I had this picture in my mind. I don't know where I picked it from, but the picture is like you are sharp like a knife. you know, like you cut butter with the knife, right?
Yeah.
I always had this picture in my mind. That's why I was always decisive. Like I can materialize it. Like I can sit in my mind to be sharp like a knife. And then that's why it's easy for me to block people to like without thinking, you know, like this. Yeah. Anyway, that's what I wanted to add. I have a call in 9 minutes, so we have to write this up. And Magdalena, I learned a lot of things from you, how to communicate better, especially one that struck with me was to tell people this is not a responsible behavior. And I learned a lot from Simon how to communicate, but from you, I learned a few things today, and I'm going to implement it in my communication, and I'm very happy about that.
I'm very happy to be with you. Thank you very much, Alexis. And
I'll say
meeting you,
this.
Simon. Yeah.
I'll just say this before I let you finish, that I really appreciate you coming and your time, and I'll be honest, it was very enlightening to speak to you. I don't get the chance to speak to leaders in general, and also a leader that is a woman. And it's very nice. I'm picking up on little tiny things all the time while I'm speaking to you, and your passion and your love for people and your positivity is very inspiring to me, and it's reinforcing and kind of showing a different style of just lifting people up without being very harsh. And for a lot of men, they're looking for a leader that is big and strong and aggressive, and that's not always the way. And I'm sure you can be aggressive when you need to be. I know you can. But it was just very pleasant and nice to see that you're doing it in a way that's different and still very nice. And I like your cat also.
Yes.
He was there the whole time?
Yes, it was absolutely.
We didn't know.
Yes.
Okay, so
Yeah. It was a pleasure with you to talk. I got some ideas. I got inspired by this conversation. So definitely it was also for me very enlightening. And I'm very glad to hear that I have shared with you something that it's good for you and it may be beneficial for you and for the listeners, yes. Of our conversation. So thank you, and looking forward to meet you again, maybe in some time where we can share other inspiring stories and experiences.
absolutely. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Magdalena.
Thank you. Bye-bye.